If you are looking to start a food business on Etsy.com, I'm going to show you 10 different secrets that will help you be successful, as well as help me create a six-figure business on Etsy selling our food products. And we're going to get to it right now. Explain to you the 10 different secrets on how you can create a six-figure business on Etsy. It has taken me a few years to do this, by the way. This is not something that I did in a few months or even in 1 year, but it took me some time to build it up. And yes, I have sold over $100,000 worth of food products through Etsy. And I'm going to give you the 10 different things that I do every single day to ensure that I continue to grow my business and that I can continue to make money on Etsy. So number one, and this may sound like, Damien, really? But start. Many people procrastinate. They want to open a shop, or they're going to open it one day, or next week I'm going to do it. A lot of people procrastinate and they don't start. That's one of the biggest hurdles for any entrepreneur, is that you have an idea to do something, but you don't take action to do it. You literally need to just start. Now, are you going to know every single feature and how the platform works? Are you going to know everything? No. When I first started, I can definitely tell you the only thing I knew how to do was to fill out that open the shop page and getting a store started, and everything on the other end as far as marketing, as far as everything else that's involved with it, I did not know off the bat, but I was willing to learn it, and I was willing to definitely take time to do it. And that is a super important key to any business, not just an Etsy business, but to any business, is get started. And once you do that and you get the momentum going, it becomes a lot easier. Now, second thing you want to do, you want to make sure that everything on the listing, every bit from your title, your description, your keywords, your photos, everything that you can possibly put into your listing on eBay for your food product, you need to fill it out in its entirety, everything that you need to do. It offers a handful of photos. Make sure that you fill in every single photo, because within Etsy's search engine optimization, when you want to make sure your product gets found, and Etsy has its own search engine built in within itself, you want to make sure that you take advantage of as much information about your product as possible. And that includes all of the photos, and doing a little bit of research and finding out what is really a really good title. What are the type of keywords? What are the types of things that my customer is actually going to type in? You have to look at your listings from your customer's perspective, not your own perspective, okay? Because if you're looking to sell, let's say, just a chocolate chip cookie, and you're putting a lot of information that has nothing to do with chocolate chip cookies, and you put photos up, which obviously have nothing to do with chocolate chip cookies, you're not going to sell them. So you want to really look at it from the perspective of your customer, and you want to fill in that information based on that. Number three, you have to look at your Etsy store as a business, not a hobby. If you're looking to create a hobby, that's fine, but you're going to get the type of results that hobbies, where people just randomly sell stuff here and there online, that's the type of sales you're going to get. You need to treat it as a business, meaning that every single day you should be somehow either promoting it, putting it out on social media. You should be interacting with customers. You should be interacting with posts on your own social media page that has to do with your business. You need to truly look at it from the perspective of a business, and you need to be as aggressive as you can in promoting your products, learning new methods and techniques to get promotional exposure for your food products. If you happen to get a YouTube influencer even to take your product and review it, you need to look at every possible way of developing and building it as a business, not as a hobby. Now, I'm not saying you can't do it as a hobby. If that's your thing, that's fine. But I can tell you, when you look at it from a different perspective, when I first started, I actually looked at Etsy not necessarily as a business, but I began to look at it as an additional source of income, just something I did on the side. And I got kind of on the side, basically on the side sales, which was not very much. When I started to pursue it as a business and I was focused on creating it and growing it as such, then I began to get much bigger orders. We began to cater weddings and corporate events with like our favors. We have some chocolate and candy items in our store. So I began to think outside the box. I began to try to promote it as a shop where people can come and get favors for events, corporate events. I began to email companies and tell them, hey, this is what we do. So when you begin to look at it as a business, it takes on a whole new life. And trust me, when you do that, your sales reflect that. It's not a hobby. Number 4, you need to fill it up. You need to have a variety of products. Can you open an Etsy store with one food item and one particular thing? Of course you could. Are you going to attract a lot of different tastes and a lot of different customers with different interests with food and maybe candies or snacks or cookies and such if you don't offer them? Well, obviously not. You need to offer variety. So if you have a singular product and you have a way to create a multitude of flavors, maybe even a different type of packaging where you can accommodate different events, that is going to be a huge benefit for you. And obviously you're going to make way more money. Trying to come up with, if you love baking, don't limit yourself to maybe just cookies or maybe just muffins or maybe just bundt cakes or maybe just anything that's baked. Try to think of a many different products or different things that you could come up with because it's your store. You can put up as much as you want. You could create 10,000 different baked items if you want. You can create 10. It doesn't matter. But the more that you can come up with, the more creative you are with what you're offering, you're going to attract a lot more other people because they may have tastes in other things. That's why we have nearly 700 items on some of our stores. Etsy, at one point, we were up to 400 plus items. And the thing of it is that as we added items and they didn't sell or they weren't really good movers, we just took them out of the store and we tried something else. So always be open to trying something new, but make sure you fill your store up with as much as you possibly can make. If you love to bake, cookies, or if you love baking, if you love candy making, maybe you like truffles, well, create a multitude of truffles. Don't just stick to one item because that way it will give you an edge over other sellers. Number 5, and this is actually probably the most important part of any online business or any business for that matter, and it's kind of a no-brainer, but customer service. Customer service in the sense that when you get a customer who emails you a question, answer it within 24 hours. Every single customer that has ever talked to us online, because I do all of the interaction with the customers' questions or custom orders and such, I answer them and get back to them within 24 hours, no less than in one day. Why? Because it creates a sense of urgency. And what you can do by that is your customer loves the fact that you get back to them very, very fast and very quickly. And trust me, they'll actually say that in their email because I get it most of the time when I respond to a customer within 24 hours, is that they love the fact that he got back so fast or you rapidly got back to me. Thank you so much. That shows that, again, you're looking at this as a business and every customer is ultra important because they're spending their money with you. It's not a hobby where you can get back to a message, I'll get back in 4 or 5 days or whenever. Don't do that. The quicker you get back, the more that customer is going to look at you as a professional and as a business and not some person that's just randomly selling things online and really doesn't care much about their customers. Customer service is ultra important. And if you can't get a certain product or if you can't fill a certain order, just be honest with the customer. And they love that as well. And you say, hey, you know what? I need you to fill up. I need 500 pretzels like in the next 2 weeks. I've had people ask for products that they want within 2 or 3 days. And I'm like, hey, I really can't fill that order. I'm sorry, but maybe next time. And believe it or not, a year later, we've actually had customers contact us because they know that in the next year they need the same order. They contacted to give us enough time to fill the order. Mainly because we were just honest with them, we were quickly responding to them, and we handled it pretty much like a business would, not as a hobby, okay? So number 6, you be customizable. And what I mean by that is you want to be able to customize orders. If you are the one that's actually making a product, and I cannot tell you the hundreds and hundreds of orders that we filled by being very flexible and being able to work with what the customer wants. There's a lot of products that we make that are just kind of plain Jane stuff, like chocolate pretzel rods with some toppings. But we get customers who say, look, I would like to order a few hundred of those, or even a couple thousand. Can you put a certain topping on that? And we say, yes, of course we can. If we don't actually have that color or we can't accommodate it, of course we would say, no, we don't. But most of the time when it comes to almost everything that we make, we give them an opportunity to customize it. That's going to make you way more money. If you make fudge, right, and you have a bride that contacts you for a wedding, and she really loves fudge, she wants to give it out as a favor, and you get an email and they're saying, look, is there a way that you can make the package size smaller? Can you customize that? And you say, well, no, this is just how we make it. Well, then most of the time that customer's obviously not going to come back to you, and they're not going to recommend you. They're not going to do business with you. But if you can figure a way out to customize or be flexible with how you're packaging, you could have just made yourself a few hundred or even a couple grand worth of sales with that one single order. So keep in mind being flexible with packaging and accommodating the customer as well as you possibly can will bring you a lot of orders. We've had, I think it's now over 700. We've probably done about 600 to 700 weddings and corporate events over the years. This isn't just what we do in a month, but over the past few years, we've done hundreds and hundreds of events because we've had the ability to be flexible and to meet our customers' needs. So definitely keep that in mind. So now the other thing this is a really unique trick. In Etsy, in the description section of Etsy, when you start to describe, right, when you start typing in the words and you're giving a description of your product, add additional links back to other items within your shop. So let's say you have 5 different flavors of a certain product or some other item that you're selling. Put the links directly in the description that allows your customer to click on them and go directly to it. Because as they focus on that description and that information, if they're interested in something else, as of course, whenever you look on the right side of Etsy, there's a lot of your products there as well that the customers can click on. But they can also look at the description and click on an item and go right to it. So as their focus is on the area where they're reading, it makes for a very easy conversion and very easy for your customer to navigate and go through your store on Etsy, okay? Number 8. This one is something that can make you a lot of money. Sell in bulk. Offer whatever you're making. Offer it. Make a listing for 10 pounds of it, 100 units of it, 500, whatever that product is. It could be anything. And again, let's just say I'm doing pretzel rods. Make a listing for 200, 500, or 1,000 because you make it easy. If there's a corporate event and I happen to be the guy that's buying all the stuff for the event and I go to that site and I come across your listing and I see you offer 500 pretzel rods, that's what I actually needed. It makes it quick and easy in a sale. So keeping it a variety of sizes is something in bulk is something that can make you a lot more money. And we do this all the time actually with all of our stores. We have large listings for large quantities, and it makes it very simple and easy for people to click on it, add it to their cart, and check out, and they're done. Now, some cases, if they need 10,000, they may say, you know what, I saw your link for 500. Hey, could you do 10,000 of whatever so-and-so? Definitely always, again, be flexible and be willing to take an order of that size and tell them how long it would take for you to make it or be honest with them as far as the turnaround time. But you definitely can make a lot more money by creating these listings for bulk sizes, okay? Number 9, this is something you have to do a little bit of research on. And what you would need to do is make sure you're using the right keywords, okay? Within each platform, there's a search engine within each one. There's an algorithm, there's a search engine on Amazon, there's one on eBay, there's one on Etsy. All of them have their own unique one. For your product to be found, make sure you're using the right keywords because those are going to be what's going to trigger your product to be found. And then in the search area, that's going to pop up. So take a little bit of time, and you can actually even go into, most of the websites now have this automated system where you go into the search box and you begin to type in, and again, let me just use as an example, chocolate pretzels, okay? You type in the word chocolate and pretzels, you'll see a variety of different terms that are used to find that type of product. Make sure that you use those, pull them into your description, pull them into your keywords when you create your listing to make sure that you're being found for your product. And of course, that varies based on the product that you're selling, okay? Now, last up, you want to make sure that you are consistent with your brand. What I mean by that is you want to make a unique listing and make your listings as far as your photos, the types of descriptions that you offer, your packaging, make sure it's consistent along the lines of all of your products, okay? Because what you're doing on Etsy is you're actually starting to make a brand. You're starting to create a brand for your product, and you want people to recognize it. So if somebody were to buy your product for a wedding or a big corporate event, and there's a multitude of these packages, and they all look the same, and they look professional, and they're well done, you're going to get customers to come back to you over and over. Plus, you're making a product that you want to relay some type of a brand. So as you create your brand, make sure it looks the same on all of your listings because that's what you're going to be recognized for, whether it's a logo, a packaging, a color, and you bring all those together, that's going to be the foundation of creating your food brand. So with that being said, I'll wrap it up. I hope those 10 tips will help you guys make a lot of money. And if you guys have any questions about anything I had mentioned, let me know again down in the description, and I will see you guys on the next video.